you ever had that moment, maybe while trying to open a jar, or when someone rushes to grab the door for you, where you think to yourself, do they think I can't do this anymore? It's not always meant as an insult, but over time, those little things can add up. And if you're not careful, they can start to chip away at how you see yourself. You reach a certain age, 70, 75, and suddenly the world seems to treat you differently. Even the people you love the most, your kids, your grandkids, might start stepping in more often. They mean well, sure, but it's easy to start feeling like you're being sidelined from your own life. But here's the truth, and I want you to hear this loud and clear: you are still strong. You are still capable. You have every right to move through this world with confidence, with independence, and with pride in all that you can still do. This video is all about helping you protect that strength, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally too. Because staying independent after 70 doesn't happen by accident. It happens through small choices, daily habits, and a mindset that says, I've still got this. Let's start with something very simple: movement. I know, you've heard it 1,000 times. Keep moving. But this isn't about exercise for the sake of exercise. This is about preserving your freedom. The ability to get out of bed on your own. To walk across a room without second-guessing your balance. To carry your own grocery bag. These little things aren't little. They're everything when it comes to staying independent. And here's the good news: you don't need to join a gym or spend an hour sweating every day. It's not about doing more, it's about doing just enough and doing it consistently. Maybe it's 5 minutes of stretching in the morning while your coffee brews. Maybe it's walking to the mailbox instead of stopping the car right at it. Maybe it's simply standing up and sitting down from a chair 10 times in a row. The secret is to keep the habit going. Because the longer you move, the longer you keep your muscles, your joints, and your balance working with you, not against you. There's a woman I know, Evelyn, who's 78. She told me she never thought of herself as an active person. But every day after lunch, she walks the length of her driveway and back, 3 times. That's it. She says it makes her feel like she's taking charge of her body, and honestly, she's right. It's not about marathons. It's about momentum. But movement isn't the only thing that helps you stay strong. What you put into your body matters just as much. After 70, your body processes things differently. You don't bounce back from dehydration the way you used to. You might not feel hunger as strongly, even though your body still needs fuel. And certain nutrients, like protein, calcium, and B12, start to matter more than ever. You don't have to change everything you eat, but it's worth paying attention to how your meals are helping or hurting your strength. Are you getting enough water throughout the day? Are you starting your mornings with something that fuels you instead of just fills you? Even adding a little more protein, like eggs, yogurt, or beans, can help keep your muscles strong. And here's a tip that works wonders: make your meals a moment of purpose. Don't just eat while standing over the sink or in front of the TV. Sit down. Use a real plate. Put a little music on. These little rituals signal to your brain that you matter, that your time matters, and that your health is still a priority. That brings me to the next point: mentality. If you want to stay independent, you have to protect your mindset just as much as your muscles. Because the moment you start believing that it's too late or I'm just too old for this, that's when the decline begins, not because your body gave out, but because your belief did. There's this quiet battle that happens in a lot of people's minds after 70. Maybe no one says it out loud, but you start to feel it. The sense that your best days are behind you. That you're more of a burden than a contributor. That people are moving on while you're being left behind. But let me tell you something, none of that has to be true. You still have value. You still have experience and wisdom that no one else can replicate. You still have the ability to grow, to change, and to make decisions that shape your future. And sometimes, all it takes to remind yourself of that is to do one thing a day that's just for you. Something that makes you feel capable. That might be solving a puzzle, learning a new app on your phone, calling a friend just to chat. Anything that reminds you that your story is still being written by you. You're not done. You're just entering a new chapter. And in this chapter, independence isn't about doing everything alone. It's about knowing that you still have choices. That you can wake up every morning and say, "Today, I decide how I live." Now that we've talked about the importance of daily movement, mindful eating, and protecting your mindset, let's lean into something just as powerful: staying socially connected on your own terms. One of the quiet traps of getting older is isolation. It doesn't always come from being physically alone. Sometimes you can be surrounded by people, family, neighbors, even caregivers, and still feel like your voice is fading into the background. That feeling, that subtle loss of connection, can start to make you feel less independent, even if no one says it out loud. But here's the thing: real independence includes having the power to choose your relationships, to choose who you spend your energy on, and to speak up when your needs, thoughts, or even your presence feel overlooked. Being socially connected doesn't mean you have to be out every day or hosting big gatherings. It can be as simple as calling a friend once a week just to talk. It might be attending a local book club or church group. Maybe it's joining an online community where people your age talk about things that matter: health, hobbies, or even just what they're cooking tonight. When you interact with others, especially people who see you and hear you, it reminds your brain that you are still part of something bigger. You're still relevant. And that sense of belonging has a direct impact on your health, mentally and physically. Studies show that people who stay socially engaged are sharper, stronger, and live longer. I once met a man named Frank, 82 years old, who joined a local walking group not because he needed help walking, but because he wanted to be around people who were also trying to stay active. He said it made him feel like he was part of a team again, something he hadn't felt since retiring. That weekly connection gave him more motivation to take care of himself in other ways too. Sometimes it really is that simple, just finding your people. And speaking of motivation, that leads me to another key part of staying strong after 70, having a reason to get up in the morning. It's easy to think that purpose only comes from work, or raising a family, or running a business. But your purpose doesn't end when the job does. It simply shifts. Maybe your purpose now is to take care of yourself, so you can enjoy your life longer and stay independent. Maybe your purpose is to teach, to share your story with the next generation, to be the wise one in the room who's still learning. Maybe it's creative, painting, gardening, singing, writing. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it belongs to you. Every person I've ever known who stayed strong into their 70s, 80s, even 90s, every single one of them had something that made their heart beat a little faster in the morning. Not because someone told them to, but because they chose it. So here's a question I want to ask you: what do you want more of in this stage of your life? More movement? More laughter? More moments of peace? More courage to say no to what drains you and yes to what lifts you up? You're not selfish for wanting those things. You're smart. You're wise. And more than anything, you're allowed to center your life around what makes you feel alive, not just what makes you feel useful. Now, I want to touch on something that might feel a little uncomfortable, but it's an important part of staying independent, preparing for the moments when you might need help, and doing it on your own terms. Staying strong doesn't mean denying that aging comes with changes. It means facing those changes with clarity and choice. Because if you don't make a plan, someone else eventually will, and that can be where true dependence starts to creep in. Planning ahead doesn't mean giving up control. It means keeping it. Maybe it's organizing your important documents and sharing them with someone you trust. Maybe it's having a conversation with your children or your doctor about what you want in the years ahead, where you want to live, how you want to be supported, what kind of care you'd accept if needed. These conversations are hard, but they are also deeply empowering. Because they say to the people around you, I'm not just waiting to see what happens. I'm still leading this part of my life. I met a woman once who had all her affairs in order by the time she turned 72. She said it wasn't because she felt old, it was because she felt free. Free to live each day with fewer worries, knowing that the future was handled the way she wanted it to be. And that freedom made her stronger, not weaker. So if you're watching this right now and you've been feeling unsure, maybe even a little afraid of what the next 10 or 20 years could look like, I want you to know something. You have more power than you think. Independence is not about doing everything alone. It's about making your own decisions, staying connected to the people and activities that feed your spirit, and being brave enough to prepare for the road ahead before someone else tries to steer it for you. You can do this. You already are. And the fact that you're here, watching, thinking, learning, that's proof that your strength isn't fading. It's evolving. So here you are. Still standing, still learning, still asking questions. That's not weakness, it's strength. The kind of strength that isn't loud or showy, but steady. Solid. Rooted in years of experience, and love given, and battles fought quietly behind closed doors. And maybe you don't always feel strong. Maybe there are days where the stairs feel longer than they used to, or your body doesn't respond quite the way it did 20 years ago. But here's what matters: you haven't stopped showing up for yourself. You're here because you still believe you have more life to live, on your terms. That belief is your power. And the moment you start living from it, really living like you know you are still in control, that's when something shifts. You've already taken big steps just by listening. You've reflected on the routines that give your day purpose. You've looked at the role movement plays in keeping you free. You've thought about how your mindset shapes your independence, how social connection lifts your energy, and how having a reason to get up in the morning matters more now than ever. And you've faced something that many people are afraid to, planning for support without giving up control. That's not something weak people do. That's something wise, forward-thinking people do. People like you. Now I want to encourage you to take all of this and make it your own. Choose one thing, just one small thing, you can begin doing today that helps you feel more independent. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's standing up a little taller when you walk across the room. Maybe it's deciding that today you'll say what's on your mind instead of holding it in. Maybe it's finally reaching out to someone just to talk, not because you need anything, but because you miss connection. These small decisions, they're not just habits. They're declarations. They say, I'm still here. I still matter. I still choose how my story goes. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to believe that your life is still yours to lead. You are still strong after 70. And not just physically. You're strong in the way that matters most, in your presence, in your voice, in your wisdom. Don't let anyone, including yourself, make you believe otherwise. You've earned the right to take up space. To be heard. To be respected not just for who you were, but for who you are right now. So, what would it look like for you to fully step into that power today? Maybe it's starting a new habit. Maybe it's letting go of something, or someone, that makes you feel small. Maybe it's writing a letter to your future self, promising that you'll keep choosing independence, no matter what. Whatever it is, make it yours. Because that's what true independence is. Not perfection. Not doing everything alone. But living in a way that's fully yours, shaped by your values, your strength, and your choice. And now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're doing to stay independent after 70? Is it something new you're trying, a habit you're keeping, or a mindset you've embraced? Share it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more people find empowering content like this. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video that puts your independence, your health, and your well-being first. This isn't just another phase of life. It's still your life. And you are more than capable of leading it with dignity, strength, and pride. So here's to you, to your independence, to your choices, and to living the way you want today, tomorrow, and every day that follows. Because being strong after 70 isn't just possible, it's powerful. Here's to living your best life at any age.